Hello, everyone, and welcome to Prometheus Live, a little live talk show that I just started doing. I have with me as my first guest, Nate Talks to You. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you, man. So apparently, spoiler alert, you're an atheist.
Yes, I am. I am an atheist and also an anti-theist.
All right. Yeah, sorry about the joke. I know it gets old, but
No,
so
no, it's no problem. I mean, Nightmare Fuel. I'm thankful that he finds my clip on the one stream that I did before with Jeff Holiday and Wizard of Cause. I'm glad that he finds so entertaining that he keep using that over and over again.
yeah, it's still great to watch. But tell me, how did you come to become an anti-theist?
Um, well, should I just begin from when I was a Christian and then just go up from there, you think?
Yeah, yeah, just go from the beginning and just yeah.
All right. Well, growing up, I was raised a Methodist Christian. My mother used to bring me to Sunday school, probably from, I don't know, like preschool age until maybe like late elementary school. And then around middle school, we stopped going. But even back then, when I was going to Sunday school and everything, there's always a part of me that was agnostic. I remember there were some occasions where I'd ask questions about, what evidence is there of God. A lot of things about the stories like Noah's Ark and stuff just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And it wasn't until I began watching atheist videos on YouTube that I fully embraced the title of atheist because I felt there's really no need to use that term agnostic. Now, granted, I do identify as an agnostic atheist, which means I'm open to the possibility of there being a God because there's no way to know for sure. But at this point in time, there's no more evidence that God is real than there is evidence that leprechauns or unicorns are real. So yeah, I've been an atheist for quite a while, probably since I was like 14 or 15 years old. But I never embraced the title of anti-theist probably until several years ago because the word seemed a bit harsh. But now that I have more of a grasp of what the term means, I really don't have an issue with it. So for me, being an anti-theist means someone who realizes that there's no strong evidence to follow any religion, any kind of belief in a deity, whether it be monotheism or polytheism. And I also realize that a lot of these religions are incredibly toxic. They have very backwards ideas which do not fit in with modern society. So, so here I am today as an anti-theist.
Yeah, I have a pretty much similar background to you. But tell me, who were the YouTube atheists that you think inspired you the most to finally associate as an atheist?
There was a handful. A couple people that I can name was, well, The Amazing Atheist. I don't watch him that much anymore, but back when I was like 15 years old, I was a pretty avid viewer of his stuff, and I found him funny. I thought he made some good points here and there about why, religious arguments don't make a lot of sense. But there are there are other people that I thought made, more thorough arguments. It wasn't about, just being edgy and shit, where they had, more like substance to what they were saying. So people that I also enjoyed were a guy called Non-Stamp Collector who makes these little like short comedic videos, but there's like a lot of good arguments for why all these things in the Bible don't make sense. I enjoy watching Dark Matter, who makes these little flash animations about contradictions in Christianity for the most part. There's also two channels I like. There's one called Theremin Trees and another one called Qualia Soup. And those videos are not really, like comedic at all. They're just like very straightforward, serious arguments for, being an atheist and why religion is contradictory and irrational. So I say those are like all the ones I named off right there, like the biggest contributors to me becoming an atheist.
Yeah, yeah, I really love Dark Matter's videos.
hmm
I
He's been
mean,
going strong for a very damn long time, and
oh
I'm
yeah,
thankful because I'd say he's like one of the most powerful forces we have right now on YouTube for, attacking religion.
yeah, he's like over 600,000 subscribers strong and still going. So
Yeah, I'm thankful. I think when I first began watching him, he only had like 50K. So yeah, he's definitely blowing up on YouTube over time.
yeah, yeah, and then of course there was people like Devin and Reese that came along like probably later. I know that, and like I first got into TJ Kirk. I mean, yeah, that was like a few years ago. I was watching him while I was still like kind of a Young Turks fanatic at the time.
I was in a Young Turks phase for a while there too, mainly when I was in like maybe a junior or a sophomore in high school. I thought they were entertaining, and I'm sure if I were to look back at their older content, I may still agree with it to a degree. But yeah, a lot of their new shit is just
Oh
pure
yeah,
awful. Anna Kasparian is insufferable. Cenk Uygur is insufferable. So yeah, I would never recommend anybody watch their shit nowadays.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like where Jimmy Dore is going. I mean, there's still a few problems here and there, but I mean, his general direction is a little, I got to admit, exciting to see.
I really don't know much about Jimmy Dore. I've seen him before. I know I mostly know him for doing the weird tongue thing because I know that Devin would always point that out in a couple of his videos to him. But yeah, beyond that, I don't know much about him. So
All right.
I'll look
Well, I
into
mean,
him
he's
though.
basically like started this new channel, and he's kind of along this line of debunking the fake news. I mean, he thinks that he hates Trump just as much as anyone else, but he thinks that you don't need the fake news of something like CNN or whatever to go after Trump. You can actually hit him on the truth.
Oh, CNN is probably one of the worst people to go after
Oh.
Trump. I mean, they end up just making him more powerful. The way they go about it, they attack him for one thing for just very petty shit. They're going after him for his diet. I mean, granted, Trump, from what I've seen, is a very shit diet, but that shouldn't be your main grievance with him. And then they'll just use like selective clips of him here and there, like dumping the fish food into that pond in Japan. So yeah, I mean, if Jimmy Dore can actually attack him for his policy and show the important stuff about why he's a bad president, then yeah, more power to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so what's your grievance with Trump? If you have a grievance with Trump, I mean,
Well, I guess the main one would be that he's a liar. I mean, if you look throughout his entire throughout the entire campaign back in 2016, there were so many times where he would contradict himself, go back on statements, and even now we're seeing him pull back on certain things he said. So I am thankful to see more YouTubers coming out now who were kind of on the Trump train, starting to say, hey, you know what, maybe it was wrong to back that horse. Not to say that I am a supporter of Clinton at all, because I remember if you look at my Facebook page during the election, I did not like Clinton one bit. But also, this is a guy, Trump, who is empowering religion, giving more. He's destroying the separation of church and state in this country. So I know that one prime example I like to mention a lot is him trying to repeal the Johnson Amendment, which would make tax exempt groups like churches and give them the ability to back certain people in politics. And he's also very close to the evangelicals, so I'm not happy about that at all. And I can name more stuff, but that's just like a gist for the time being.
yeah, but the thing about that though, with the whole Johnson Amendment, I mean, you have people like Robert Jeffress and Jerry Falwell Jr. and all these religious leaders already coming out and supporting him. So I really don't know like what the benefit of the Johnson Amendment is if these preachers are allowed to just come out and support him and not expect their flock to go with them. I don't know. It just seems like there's some little dicey territory that's been going on.
I don't know. I mean, if you look at Trump and his behavior, he does not seem like he's a much of a Christian. I mean, the infidelity for one thing, his comments on women and people in general, it doesn't seem very Christian. So I don't know what he gets out of supporting them. I guess it's all just about getting the votes and everything.
Yeah, Mr. 2 Corinthians.
Hmm.
But yeah, but the fact is that like 81% of the evangelical vote came out and voted for him, even though all of the things that came out, like with the Access Hollywood tape and all the problems he's had that's pointed to him not being really pious at all. I think it just even further illustrates that the religious right is further losing power at an alarming rate.
I think what it is I think a lot of these evangelicals are willing to look past Trump's personal behavior and focus mainly on what he'll actually do for the country. So, again, mention the Johnson Amendment. Despite his own behavior, he is empowering the religious right in this country. So they're thinking, it's like maybe Trump is a piece of shit and he's done this and that, but I'll look over it because out of all the people running for the Republican nomination, he is like their best bet.
Yeah. I mean, they don't like Clinton at all. And, it's, I mean, I think that's pretty much the majority of it. They just don't want Clinton in there because Fox News and all the right wing outlets have been completely pumping out like anti-Clinton propaganda for years. And it's not to mention it's like the 1992 Democrats when Bill Clinton was being accused of all this crap, and the Democrats voted for him because, as long as he votes my way, I'll put him in there.
Well, of course. I mean, this is Fox News. They have a track record of being disingenuous pieces of shit, so I'm not surprised they'd have a double standard when it comes to Trump, and then they'll attack Clinton. Now, granted, I'm not saying that I'm in support of what Trump did or what Clinton did. They both made a bad decision doing that. But Fox News is incredibly partisan. There was one clip that I saw recently on Twitter, and it was showing when Obama, when he was still president, he wanted to negotiate with North Korea to, I guess, try to, maintain peace. And Fox News was calling that decision of Obama's un-American. It was a bad decision. But then fast forward to today, Trump is doing roughly the same thing, trying to negotiate with Kim Jong-un. And they're saying it's a very patriotic decision. He's a great president, a good leader. So, yeah, I don't think that Fox News really has any genuine position on anything. They just back whichever horse is Republican at that time.
Oh yeah, I mean Hannity is like the worst offender. I mean, even I forget which comedian did it. It was either Jon Stewart or Stephen Colbert or Trevor Noah. I can't remember, but they compiled like a list of videos where Hannity was criticizing Obama, but then defending Trump for the same issue. Like when Hannity went after Obama for having Dijon mustard on a hot dog, he's like he's criticizing
that clip. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, he criticizes him for that. But then when Trump likes to cut pizza into pieces, he's like, yeah, well, you know what? What's the problem with that? What's the problem with how people eat their food? And it's the same thing with like religion. Hannity criticizes Obama for not being a Christian, but then when someone accuses, like the Pope tells Trump that he's not a Christian for all the walls, Hannity goes, well, who is he to tell who's a Christian or not?
Mm-hmm. So, exactly. I mean, I don't watch Hannity that much, but I would not doubt that happened at all. I have seen the clip with Hannity attacking Obama over a fucking hot dog. So, but I guess these people eat it up, and it's scary to see that Fox News is gaining more power in the media again. I blame that mainly on Tucker Carlson. It seems like he's been bringing the ratings in again. So now Fox is empowered.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, at first it was O'Reilly. He was the Fox News giant, and then all the crap that came out about him, suddenly he was gone. And Tucker, he went from I think the 7 o'clock time slot, like all the way to O'Reilly's time slot, and yeah, and there was something else. Oh yeah, and one thing though that I do like about if Trump being in the White House, if there's I can find one positive thing is that there is sort of an introspection going on with the left, because I think now they're realizing they just can't get away with the same crap they used to. So that's kind of moving people more to the center.
I haven't seen that personally, but I do hope it is happening because, yeah, clearly everything they did throughout the entire election in 2016 was ineffective. In the long run, it just destroyed them. So, yeah, I hope they begin to go in a more moderate direction, because I think that a lot of more people would have voted Democratic in the election if it wasn't for how ridiculous their policies were and how ridiculous the rhetoric was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you a Bernie supporter, or where was your who was your horse to back in the election?
I jumped around a bit throughout the entire election campaign. So I know there was one of those websites, like who should you support for the election, and I went through like 100 or so questions, and I ended up getting Bernie Sanders as being the closest person that I align with, and that was back in like 2015 or whatever I took that. So throughout Bernie's entire time running for president, I was backing him, and then after he dropped out, um, I ended up voting or supporting Gary Johnson. But then nearing the end of the campaign, I just began seeing more clips of Gary Johnson acting ridiculous. Like there's this one clip of him being interviewed on some bench and he sticks his tongue out. I wasn't a big fan of his whole open borders mentality for immigration. So then after that, I just said, you know what, I'm not really a big fan of Trump or Hillary, so I simply didn't vote.
Yeah, I went in the same direction. I was a big Bernie guy, but then when Bernie left, I was thinking of Gary Johnson or Jill Stein. But when they wouldn't get into the debates, I just knew they wouldn't win. So I just said, screw it, I'm not going to vote.
Hmm. And looking back, if I could have voted for somebody else instead of Bernie Sanders, I probably would have. I can't think of his name right now, but there was some other guy on the Democratic side who I looked over his policies and stuff, and I thought he'd be a good choice. But I mean, it was obvious from the beginning that the DNC was going to be backing Hillary the entire time, even though she's unelectable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the fact is, she was under FBI investigation throughout the whole campaign.
Hmm.
And I just don't know how they would let that happen. How people would just say, "Oh, you know what? She's under FBI investigation. I think she has my vote."
That's the country we live in. People. I mean, it's the same thing's happening now with Trump. I mean, we're seeing all these accusations coming out about his infidelity with the prostitute, all the stuff about Russia, and people are indifferent to it. If they like a person, they like his policy, they're willing to overlook basically anything they say or do. I remember there was one comment that Trump made before he became elected where he said, I could shoot a guy in the middle of the street and people would still vote for me. And I don't doubt that for 1 minute.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a shock when turns out he was right. And still, I mean, there are still people that are willing to say, "Yeah, even though he screwed me over on everything, I'll still vote for him in 2020."
I'm kind of doubtful that he'll make it to 2020. I think that if he continues to fuck up the way he has so far, people will be like, all right, we tried this guy, we gave him a chance. Remember that was the rhetoric the entire time.
Oh yeah,
He's an outsider. Give him a chance, guys. Come on. But I think that in 2020, people will be like, all right, he got his chance. He didn't do so well, so let's try somebody new. And I don't know. I'm not going to say vote for a Democrat or Republican. Vote for whoever is best for the position.
yeah. So who would you like to see to run if you had the choice?
Want to see run? Um, I'm not that big. I don't know many names of different politicians, but I remember Kyle Kalinske mentioned the woman who I believe is the governor of Hawaii. I have to look up her name right
Oh,
now.
I think she's actually a congresswoman from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard. I
Oh
love.
yeah, not governor. Yeah, Tulsi, that one woman from Hawaii. I mean, I
Yeah,
looked over her, her ideas, and based on that alone, I'd say, yeah, go ahead, vote for
yeah.
her.
I mean, she's got the support. I mean, when Trump bombed Syria, Richard Spencer tweeted out Tulsi 2020.
Oh,
That was
really?
yeah,
Richard Spencer backed her.
yeah, and then Tulsi actually met with Trump, and Steve Bannon actually said into the publication that reported it that he actually likes her. So she has both cross appeal between like the progressive left, the nationalist right, and even alt writers like her. So
Now that is promising. I mean, if you can get both people from both sides to come together and say we want to back this person, then that is awesome. But why would Steve Bannon be in support of her? Because I'm not sure what she would do or say that would be in favor of his ideas. Do you know?
Well, yeah, I think it's because of her position on Islam. She definitely is in line with like our way of thinking. She's more critical of Islam, and it's or she doesn't want us to be aligned with Saudi Arabia. She wants us to be more aligned with India, and they're like hit because of their Hindu nationalism, and they're not like hardcore radical Muslims. So she's more in line with them. Um, I think there's also, well, she's also an anti-interventionist. Same with Bannon. So I think there's some promise there. I'll have to look at everything, but I think Bannon says that she's probably the most likable Democrat.
I didn't know about that that at first part you mentioned. So that's interesting. That gives me more reason to support her. As far as interventionism, though, I don't really have a firm opinion as of yet on that topic. I know that Nightmare Fuel is pretty big on intervention, and I thought he made some good arguments here and there, but still, I'm a little agnostic on the intervention topic.
Yeah, I was a principled anti-interventionist, but I
Mhm.
did watch a lot of Nightmare Fuel's videos, so I'm a little less in that camp, but I still do find myself in the anti-interventionist camp. Just I do think there is some financial benefit to not being interventionist. I think that we've had any like real success in intervention with regime change, because when we do regime change, there always seems to be like a nationalistic opposition that ends up overthrowing it. So
I think the problem there is just that the way we go about intervention is like a crappy way of doing it. We need to actually stay in the country to make sure there is no uprising from these terroristic powers like ISIS, for example.
well, I mean, it's not just the Middle East. I think it's more like when we overthrew socialist countries in Latin America,
Hmm.
they and then somehow they would always like come back. They would always get rid of these puppet dictators that we always put up.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know much about that topic to really speak on it much, but um, if we do intervene in different countries, I mean, it would be preferable that we do it in a non-violent manner. No bombing, no military action of any kind, just like in a more diplomatic fashion.
Yeah, just like kind of creating a more organic opposition.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
back to Tulsi Gabbard for a minute. Has she actually been critical of Islam itself, or just Islamic countries?
yeah. I think she's actually critical of radical Islam. I mean, that's from some of the clips that I've seen of her. Yeah, she does seem like she's more critical of like radical Islam. She wants to actually stop the. She actually put forward a bill in Congress called "Stop Arming Terrorists" bill, and I don't think it's passed yet.
Yeah, that is one thing. I know that the left in this country, they're pretty big on cucking for Islam. So if she's vocal about that, I'm skeptical that enough people would vote for her on the left. But I mean, then again, we got Trump in office, so
Oh yeah.
if he can get in, maybe Tulsi can too.
Yeah, but I mean, Jank and Anna, they do talk highly about her. So does Kyle Kalinske and Jimmy Dore and all these left-wing people that I do watch on occasion. So yeah, they do talk her up quite a bit.
That's good to hear. Well, I'll have to see it in 2020, and if she's around,
Yeah.
then I'll probably vote for her then.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I'll probably do some more research to see if she's actually like come out just against Islamic countries. I know she's against Saudi Arabia because of their policies and their focus on Wahhabi Islam. But yeah, again, I'll do some more research and see if I can confirm that for you.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, is there anything that you do agree with Trump on?
That I do agree with Trump on. I remember doing like the one political test to see who I align with the most, and they would show like you agree with this person the most on this topic or that topic, and when it came to Trump, it seemed like what we agreed on, like the one thing that Trump and I both agree on is restriction on immigration. So yeah, I do want to prevent illegals from coming into the country. not Mexicans in general, but just people that are coming here illegally. I want to restrict that and make sure they don't get in here. I want to be, tough on Islam. So another thing I agree with them on. But it seems like virtually everything else besides that topic, there's a lot of disagreement with the two of us on that. As far as building a wall, I don't have an issue with building a wall in principle, but I think in practice it may not work as well. I mean, for one thing, Mexico is not going to pay for it. We've already established that. And it's going to cost a fuck ton to pay for a giant wall. So I think there are probably less expensive yet equally efficient ways of stopping illegal immigration into the U.S. And the wall thing, I'm doubtful it'll work that well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in pretty much agreement on the wall. I think that if, first of all, they did a report about like there are some, when it comes to building the wall, you would actually have to cut through some towns and residential areas. So I think it was actually CNN that did the report. So I don't know how valid it is, but they did show like interviewing people that's saying that they found out that they would be on the other side of the wall if it was built, because that's where it would have to be built. So the people were like all pissed off, and these were people that voted for Trump. So this was kind of hilarious. And
that is rich. It seems like a fucking Berlin Wall will be building.
Oh yeah, and I don't know you've ever seen the show Adam Ruins Everything?
Yeah, I did watch his video about the wall, and I remember I actually shared that video a while ago to my Facebook page. And I have a weird mixture of people on Facebook. I have a chunk of people who are more socialist and a bunch of people who are more right wing. I have people who are alt-right, alt-light. I don't know how it happens. I think that the thing about me is that I do post a lot of atheist stuff, and that seems to be more attractive to left-wingers. But then I'll attack SJWs, and that attracts more of the right-wing conservative crowd. So I have this weird, like, convoluted mixture of people who are a little dysfunctional. Like, it's a dysfunctional family on my page.
Yeah, and I think possibly your attacks on Islam.
Yeah, that too, that is appealing.
Yeah, that could attract right-wingers
who are anti-theist. But yeah, it definitely is appealing to right-wingers too. Then those same people get pissed off when I attack Christianity, though.
Oh yeah, but I think there's a certain type of loyalty that anti-theists do elicit. I mean, like Devin, for example, he's a Hillary Clinton supporter. He's gun control, but he still gets alt-righter support. He still gets a lot of right-wing support for his channel.
Well, yeah, that's because Devin, I mean, for one thing, attacks Islam all the time, so they love him for that, and they also enjoy his content because he talks about, about black crime in America. So of course, the alt-right loves hearing about that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's another situation where you have a channel that has a mixture of left and right wingers following them, but for different reasons.
Yeah. So I mean, what is your opinion of Devin Tracy?
Devin, I remember I was watching him avidly back in like 2016, 2017. I kind of quit watching him now. I just kind of lost interest. I mean, he uploads a lot of shit for one thing, and I couldn't keep up, and I found other content that I have an interest in now. It was weird, though. I remember like a month or two ago, I made a tweet talking about how Andy Worski and Devin had their videos flagged. I don't remember who it was about. Oh, I think it was about Francesca Ramsey. Yeah, they both made videos with Francesca Ramsey, and they got flagged together on the same day, I think. And then out of the blue, Devin makes a tweet to me saying, "You sound like a putz." And I don't know what provoked that response to me. I was like defending him in my tweet. So I don't know if he could clarify on that. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a little weird. And yeah, but I think the Francesca Ramsey thing was like videos from like over a year ago that supposedly they made, and all of a sudden
that is so bizarre. I mean, Francesca is pretty close with the YouTube crowd, right?
Yeah, I think she's kind of close with him. Yeah. So that's just
it's like a little bit of it was an inside job, you could say.
Oh yeah, I think it's constantly going to happen. It's going to happen again. You just wait. And so who do you watch now? Like who are your say top 5 anti-theist YouTubers?
Anti-theist? Well, I'm not sure if all of these people would identify as anti-theist, but I know they're all atheists. So the first one would be Cosmic Skeptic. He's a British YouTuber. He he doesn't really go for a comedic vibe in his content. It's like very serious, but I do think that his rhetoric is very effective, and he has like a very professional look going on with his videos. So I respect him for that. And yeah, the points all around are, I think they're very effective at making people say, hey, you know, atheism is the right direction to go in. Another channel I like is another one called Rational. I'm sorry, it's called God, what is it called right now? It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. I'll go back to him for a minute. Another channel I like is called GM Skeptic. Another YouTuber. He's very similar to Cosmic Skeptic, and they both make videos on atheism. And I'm pretty sure that GM Skeptic identifies as an anti-theist himself. So yeah, I like those two channels, but I'm trying to think of the other one that I like right now. He has long hair and a beard.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Rationality something.
Rationality Rules. Thank you.
There we go.
I don't know how I forgot that, but yeah, Rationality Rules. He also does very good content. I know he's made like 3 videos now on Jordan Peterson. And I mean, most people that I've seen attack Jordan Peterson, I mean, they have good arguments here and there, but they're not as thorough. Where Rationality Rules, I think he does like the most efficient job at just like cutting through the bullshit, which is Peterson's rhetoric.
Yeah, his first video was kind of like negative, like split almost 50-50 because of the Jordan Peterson crowd that came in. But I think his second video got much better reviews. And I haven't seen his third video yet, so I'll have to check that out.
Well, that's going to happen. I mean, if you have like your video in the recommendations next to a bunch of, you know, Cult of Personality Peterson videos, I mean, they're going to come over there and attack the shit out of you. It doesn't mean your video's bad. It just means that the cult followers came along. The same thing happened to me when I made a video. You know Dennis Prager, right?
Oh, yeah, Prager University.
Yeah, he's made a whole bunch of retarded anti-atheist videos, and I made a response to him one time. And lo and behold, my video was in the recommendations next to like maybe 2 of his videos. And after that, they just came flooding the comment section saying I'm dumb. They didn't really have any arguments against me for the most part. It was simply them saying that I'm an idiot. And that's typical whenever people attack my content. The same thing with the chemtrail believers. They do the same thing. They just call me a shill or a moron, but they never actually debunk what I said. So that video that I made on Prager is like, you know, half and half likes and dislikes. So, but it's whatever. I don't really care much about the rating stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's just as long as my video is good and I have, you know, strong arguments, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, like you got to take the likes to dislikes ratio with a grain of salt. Like if you're attacking another YouTuber or another personality, chances are you're going to get a lot of dislikes from the people that are fans of that person. So you can't really trust the like to dislike ratio. But if it's more on a topic that you think they would be interested in, then yeah, maybe you should pay a little more attention to it. But
I mean, these people would not subscribe to me whether or not I made a video on Prager. I mean, at the end of the day, I got them to watch my video, and I kind of broke into their echo chamber. So I say it's a win for me anyway.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if you show up in the trending list next to his. Yeah, was it the Is Murder Wrong video of Prager that you did?
Yeah, the video was titled something like If There Is No God, Murder Isn't Wrong.
That's it.
This moral objectivity argument, you know, we need God to have morality, which is retarded. I mean, we can even identify moral behavior in animals. So that right there debunks the idea that we need religion to have morality. So, yeah, I'm very happy with that video, and I encourage anybody who's a fan of Prager to check it out. Maybe I'll change your mind.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when it comes to like animals and morality, I mean, there was like, I can't remember where I saw this video, but it was like a video of, there was a chimpanzee and its baby just died, and the camera like zoomed in on the face, and you can definitely see the mother of the chimp just crying. Like, and I'm like, okay, that is real emotion. Animals have this. So, yeah. And I mean, so when people are trying to say that animals like don't understand morality or whatever, it's, I don't know. It's you just got to watch that clip, and it does change your perception a little bit.
There is this one scientist. I may butcher his name here, but his name is Franz D. Wall, and he's written extensively about like moral behavior identified in primates, like chimpanzees, for example, and just in primates in general, and also I believe in elephants as well. Like the more intelligent an animal is, like the easier it is to spot this moral behavior and what they do. So I think that if we bring more attention to that kind of behavior, it'll just keep tearing shreds into the religious arguments more and more.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these, but now that the right seems to be getting more into the science arguments as well. I mean, I did on my video where I did a more extensive attack on cultural Christianity. I put up an article where they said that atheists are like genetic mutants, or what they said was like that religion is more natural, or people with religious feelings are more genetically natural, while atheists are genetically mutated. And
wouldn't that mean that we're more evolved?
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, they even they use the example of left-handed people having more genetic mutations. Then you look online and you find, oh, looks like left-handed people are smarter than right-handed people. So, and of course, there is a correlation between atheism and intelligence.
That is very true. I've seen several studies showing that, if you're an atheist, you're more likely to have a higher IQ, and in more secular countries, our religion has less influence on their society. These countries tend to have a higher IQ, where the super orthodox countries, they tend to have lower IQs. So I think, I mean, that doesn't guarantee that atheism and IQ are connected, but it does show for sure that atheism does not make you dumber.
Yeah, there's a correlation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the IQ chart of all the countries listed in order, like the scientist that actually did that also did, I think, one on religion, and it showed that there was an IQ difference of at least 7 points in the average of atheists versus religious. So,
and another argument I see going around a lot nowadays is that because countries nowadays are becoming more and more atheistic, religion does not influence people's lives as much anymore, that we are seeing the fall of the West. I mean, if you've ever seen Stefan Molyneux's YouTube channel, he has dozens of videos, like every video, the fall of Canada, the fall of Europe, the decline of this and that. This very doomsday type bullshit that you would normally see from, some kind of, priest or whatever who's bored one day and says, I'm going to make a fake prediction today. We're seeing this from Stefan Molyneux, who himself is an atheist, but he's a cuck for religion, basically.
yeah, I mean,
yet if you look at some of the most irreligious countries in the world, like if you look in the Czech Republic or the Netherlands, these are extremely atheistic countries. I know the Netherlands for sure is like half of their country is atheist, and yet it is one of the most peaceful countries on the entire planet. And that just pokes a massive hole in this idea that atheism would lead to some kind of, dystopian world.
Yeah, not to mention the Scandinavian countries, I think, still rank the highest on happiness. So this whole idea of atheism makes you more depressed. I don't think it works on the macro scale. I mean, and I make an argument, say, you know what, if atheism does bring nihilism, I think a good amount of nihilism is good for you. I like to say for myself that, I'm just enough of a nihilist to know how the world works, but I'm enough of an idealist to believe that we can do better.
I think a lot of it is merely projection. You'll see a lot of Christians and Muslims say, if you don't have religion in your life, you're going to be depressed and nihilistic. And I also see them claim, if it wasn't for religion, why aren't you going around killing people? And I think that's just more about them as a person. It is about the person they're attacking, because I'm an atheist. I've never killed anybody in my life. I've never raped anybody in my life. I've never committed any kind of violent act like that in my life. So I think it's just them trying to say, hey, the only thing holding me back is my religion. And if I never had a religion, I would be that rapist. I would be that killer.
Yeah, and isn't the atheist population of prisons like less than 1%?
I think it is less than 1%. And I know that the one person online, the one blogger, the Friendly Atheist, he's made, I think, like 2 blogs about this topic, showing that even as a minority in the US, atheists are still underrepresented when it comes to the prison population,
Hmm.
which I think
Yeah,
is very interesting because again, it pokes another hole in this idea that atheism is violent.
yeah, I mean, the fact is, prisons have a prison chaplain, so that kind of tells you who the majority of prisoners are.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the majority of them are, yeah, they're Protestant. I think for the most part.
Yeah, I think unless like if there's like with a sizable Catholic population, if you
Yeah,
count a majority of Latinos.
and I think that that argument needs to be put forward out there more. I mean, we're talking about this right now. We both know about this because we're both atheists, and we look this up very often. But I doubt that most people in America know about this kind of information. And I think that if we inform more people about this kind of stuff, they'll begin to rethink their assumptions about us.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Um, let's see what. Oh, there was something else that I was going to ask. Where do you see the future of anti-theism going? I mean, I know Nightmare Fuel talked to both you and I after the stream we had about the subject. He seems optimistic. How do you feel about it?
Ah, it's another topic where I'm a little bit agnostic. I hope that people are owning up to atheism in this country, but I have my doubts because I'm seeing a rise in people like Jordan Peterson who are pushing forward this rhetoric, that religion is good, religion makes you a better person, and it seems like Peterson's growing as a cult of personality in this country. So I think we need to focus on people like him for the time
Yes.
being and just begin to push back against it because it seems like the tables have turned. In the beginning, the argument was, is there a God? Does God make you a good person? Where now it's no longer about the evidence for religion and it's more about the utility of religion. So you'll see less Christians arguing for proof of God and more of them saying maybe God isn't real, maybe it's all bullshit, but you should believe anyway because it'll make your life more fulfilling, it'll prevent the destruction of civilization. So now anti-theists should focus on the utility of not being a part of a religion and just being an atheist.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's going on is like there's this sort of like there's two sides of human intelligence, I believe, like the logical side and then there's your emotional side. And I think what Peterson is doing is he's trying to appeal to people's emotional side about religion, trying to say,
Hmm.
you know what, it can fulfill you, it can make you feel more complete. Whereas on your logical side that God isn't real. So
Hmm.
you're just trying to create a culture and where you can be united based on emotion. Do you
And this is
follow?
this is the thing about the right, which I cannot stand, is that the right likes to play up this rhetoric that they're all about facts and the left is all about emotion. And in actuality, it's both. They're both very emotional people. You look at these left wingers on college campuses, these students, and they get upset and everything. But we see a lot of the same stuff on the right, except they're a little bit better at hiding it. But if you look at their arguments, they're all heavily emotional when you break them down. So again, like you just mentioned, Peterson saying that religion makes you more complete, that's a feels-based argument. It doesn't actually demonstrate that religion is true.
Yeah. And, as for Peterson's rise, I mean, most of it is because of those college kids on the campuses. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so we on the left definitely have to really aggressively focus on getting those people under control.
Yeah, the thing about the left is that they're not very efficient, at least in this current climate. They're not very efficient at rhetoric. They're not very good at putting forward their best image. They they act ridiculous on college campuses, and in the end, it just drives people away. And I don't know why they think that what they're doing is helpful. They're just destroying what could be a very powerful movement.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I used to be sort of in that camp. I mean, I wasn't like aggressively with the blue hair protesting everything, but I did agree with them. And mostly because of what happened in 2008. And my father was in real estate and he kind of lost his job. So I kind of became more sympathetic to Marxism or
Oh, were you
socialism.
part of the Occupy movement?
No, I never was, but I was a supporter. So I wasn't actually part of it. I wouldn't go to any protests for it, but yeah, I was a supporter of the Occupy movement, and well, and of course, like about a couple, but just right after the election, I finally decided I wanted out because it was because when that story came out about all the kids that had to be like needed trauma care and all that, be like therapy dogs, coloring books. I just looked at that and I said, "Oh my God, I want out."
The thing
So
about
I
having
just
therapy dogs is that really a good representation of the left, though, or is it a small but vocal minority of people?
I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it's probably a vocal minority, but I kind of was a little in that camp, so it did affect me personally to see them just fall apart like this. What I really wanted to do was I wanted to just finally get my head on straight, and I looked to people like Sargon of Akkad, and then I found Nightmare Fuel, and I immediately fell in love with his work. So, and I've been a fan of him ever since. Sargon, on
Mhm.
the other hand, I've kind of started to wane from him because of his disastrous performance in the Spencer debate and his little rant on the Michelle Catlin, and just it's gone downhill from there.
Michelle Catlin, who is I've heard the name before,
Uh,
but I can't think right now.
she's got this, yeah, the avatar of this little
Oh
girl or
yeah, I know this person. I know that I mainly know this person through nightmare filmmaking videos to her. Is it a her or a he or what?
I don't know. It sounds like I almost think it sounds like a guy, but everybody says that it's a she, so I don't know. But Sargon was on a stream with her, and the chat was going nuts, and he was like, you know what, like calling them white N words and saying, "Well, I'm a person." Oh my
Wait,
God!
that was a Michelle stream, the one where he
Yeah, I
says
believe that
you're a
was on
bunch of white
Michelle.
N-words. I would say it on the stream, but I don't want to get you flagged or anything. But yeah, I remember that shit. I don't know why he did that. That was like the worst example of optics I've ever seen. You don't
I
want to act
know.
that way. If you want to be a political influence in the world, maybe you shouldn't shout the N-word.
I know that was like so stupid. I mean, but I think the worst part for me was just seeing him like say, "But I'm a person. I don't know why they're treating me like this, and I
He's a
don't want to debate
human.
the alt right." Yeah, I know, and I don't want to debate the alt right because of this. I mean, this is exactly what the SJWs were saying about the antis.
Yeah, I have seen that. I've seen a lot of people on the alt right or even the alt light saying that Sargon is starting to show some Anita Sarkeesian esque behavior, and
Yeah,
I don't think that he's anywhere near as bad as Anita Sarkeesian, but I think he does need to reevaluate his messaging because I think that right now it isn't a good look for him.
yeah. I think his blades are sharp when it comes to attacking social justice warriors, but when it comes to going after the alt right, I mean, he really needs to work on it.
That is one big mistake that a lot of people in this community have made is that they spent all of this time attacking SJWs, and then they have this assumption that holy shit, I'm a fucking mastermind. I can go after anybody now.
Mhm.
So then they go after people who are vegans, assuming it's going to be the same shit all over again. But then lo and behold, they fight vegan gains, they fight Ask Yourself, and they realize, these people actually have some pretty powerful arguments. These people, cannot be defeated as easily. And then now, what do you know? A lot of them are not interested in fighting vegans because they get their asses kicked, quite frankly. And the same thing happened with the alt right. Now, I'm not an alt right supporter, but these people are very good at rhetoric. And when they go against them, they usually get their asses kicked too.
Yeah, I mean, Kraut is the perfect example of that.
Yeah, Kraut blew it with the whole server getting leaked. I don't know why he thought it would be a good idea to invite all those people into that server thinking that it wouldn't get out. I mean, I'm not supporting what he did. I'm just saying if I was in his position, I would have kept it at maybe like 7 people tops, but he had dozens of people in there. And yeah, that's what's going to happen. People
Yeah,
will turn on you. People will just try to be shit stirrers, and they'll make a scene out of you. And now look at him. He's essentially killed his YouTube channel. And personally, if I was in his position, I mean, if he wants to make a name for himself again on YouTube, he should just make an open apology video again, admitting that he fucked up, and then just leave the alt-right topic alone, and then just go back to his old videos. I know that a lot of his old stuff was attacking Islam. Go back to that, because despite his reputation being tarnished, I think that enough people would keep watching his Islam videos to support him on YouTube through Patreon and stuff.
yeah. So do you think that there will be like this internet backlash towards the alt right? You know, like how
I
game.
think it's already happening.
Hmm. All right. I mean, it's not. I don't think it was at the level that it was with the whole GamerGate situation when that just blew up in the SJW's face.
Oh, it's by no means at that scale yet. But I mean, there are plenty of people in the skeptic community who do not support the alt right. These are people who are more center right, center left, and they don't agree with the white nationalism idea. So there is backlash that I've seen. I mean, again, Sargon of Akkad has attacked them. People like Jeff Holiday have attacked them. Mundane Matt doesn't like them. Those are a few examples again, but I mean, the entire mainstream media has obviously attacked them plenty. So they're another example. I don't think the alt right has much of a future in this country, at least not in this time period.
Hmm.
Maybe 100 years from now, but I don't see them ever getting their white ethno state anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to succeed in getting an ethno state, but I do think there is still room for them to grow. And because so far I haven't seen like any massive, like, knockout blow when it comes to their arguments. I mean, JF is kind of their best weapon when it comes to the science. And then you have, I think you have people like the Golden One and who was an alternative hypothesis. I mean, these guys are some pretty strong heavyweights when it comes to the alt-right argument.
Yeah, I know a bit about the Golden One and Alt Hype, but they're not people I can speak heavily on because I don't know enough about their positions to really respond to them. But yeah, from what I've seen, they have a lot of support on YouTube, and people see them as like their best hope for getting out there. And I know that you also wanted to cover the Worski drama. It seems like Andy Worski's live streams have kind of become the alt-right haven in a way. Yes and no. But a lot of people who watch Worski are in the alt-right category.
Yeah, I think his old skeptic audience is starting to bolt because I mean I looked at Social Blade just today and he's bleeding subs.
Oh yeah, we're seeing the big shift in his fan base now. Are you familiar with the guy called Hi, I Think I'm Real?
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, Hi, I Think I'm Real. I believe that he, in the beginning, was friends with Andy Worski, but after Worski began having more of these alt-right-esque streams, a lot of people that Worski was previously friends with have all turned on him because they don't want to associate with this kind of content. So yeah, I think I'm Real's made several videos. I think he's made like 2 videos on him at this point.
Yeah.
And of course, Sargon of Akkad was once pretty close with Worski, I think, and now they're not on the best of terms. Also, Theron Meyer doesn't like him anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's lost a lot of friends in this entire thing, but
Yeah.
Worski doesn't seem to care very much.
Yeah, I mean Theron kind of went to SJW and Hi, I think I'm real. I mean, he just made a video on Worski today, just I think yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I like Worski as a person. I think he's a great guy. I mean, I think his whole angry YouTuber is kind of a shtick. because you see how he acts differently on live streams compared to how he acts on video, like on takedowns of SJWs.
Well, Wars doesn't even do that anymore, does he? Doesn't he
Nah,
just do live streams now?
yeah, he does. He just does live streams because I think the money that just comes in from those streams is just way too good. And then he decides he's going in this new direction, and then JF just makes this 3-hour live stream, literally calling Worski like, well, implying that he's dumb, that his channel's nothing
Shut
without
the fuck
him.
up with your low IQ interventions.
Oh my.
But yeah, it does seem like they're friends again now. They did a stream about a day or two ago. I know there are a couple of compilation channels on YouTube which they'll clip like small half-hour segments of their show. I'm not gonna watch the entire thing; it's way too long. But yeah, it does seem like they have kissed and made up at this point, so they're gonna keep going. But
yeah, but
it does seem like JF is he's now the host of the show. Essentially.
Yeah, I know. People are probably going to should probably put in the chat, welcome to the JF show. I mean, just see how F pisses off Worski. And yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. I mean, JF did that stream, in my opinion, to just really leverage himself against Worski, to try and alpha him. And judging by Worski's complete turnaround on the Kumite the following morning, yeah, it worked. JF is pretty much now integrated himself as like a necessary part of Worski Live.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on with Worski and JF that we're not hearing about. It does seem like JF, to a degree, has like some control over Worski. I'm just being gossipy here, I know, but
oh yeah, I mean.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was thinking like Medicare on the Kumite. He kind of played like armchair psychologist and he kind of touched on Worski's like old past as a guy with a stutter and all that, and kind of sees that, maybe that's kind of like a type of low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And, someone like JF, it's like it comes in and he's like a strong alpha guy with intelligence. And it's kind of like a domestic abuse situation.
Oh, that is a good analogy. I'm not sure. I think that may be a bit hyperbolic, but yeah, it does feel a little domestic abusey in some little tidbits here and there. Hold on a minute. There was a funny image I wanted to share with you here that Medicare posted a while ago. I'm not sure if you want to share that on screen or not. Here, I'll put it in the chat for you. I thought that was comedy gold.
Yeah, let me check on this. Oh yeah, I saw this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw another one on Twitter where it's like JF like holding like it's like a ventriloquist dummy, and Andy's like got that weird long grin on his face with like a puppy dog eyes look, and it's just JF. And Andy Worski says, welcome to my show. And then I mean, I wish I could find it, but it's the JF character then says, shut the fuck up, Andy.
I think what it could be, I mean, Andy Worski, I mean, if you saw him on the Kumite after JF told him to shut up, I mean, Andy Worski was quite visibly upset with JF. But they've made up now, but I think a part of the reason why they made up, I don't think it's entirely because, all the bad blood is gone. I think it could be because Andy Worski realizes that a lot of his viewership is because of JF. If you look at Andy Worski's streams before JF came on, he was getting around like 10-20,000 views. And now with JF on the show, he's getting like 50 and 60K. So I think it's kind of like, you need me, Andy. It's that kind of relationship.
Yeah, not to mention that I mean, you're kind of right. It is about the viewership, but yeah, it's also, I had a point here and I just lost it. It was, it's not to mention it's the super chats. The super chats that come in, I mean, he kind of bragged about him saying that he now has a career to his dad. Like on his 30th birthday.
Money to buy the trademark to liberalist. So yeah, he's making some money right there.
Oh yeah, I don't know if that thing might go through anymore because of what came out about him in the because of what he said on the Kumite with
What did
the
he
whole
say?
stealthing.
Oh yeah, he removed his condom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unusual, but apparently, like, even after that happened, I believe it was with his girlfriend at that time,
Yeah.
and I guess even after he did the stealthing thing, I guess she forgave him, and they're together still. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not sure if you can really go after him on that point because it's kind of
Oh, I
between
know.
the two of them at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably make an argument that yeah, he did a shitty thing, and
Hmm.
if the girl would have pressed charges, yeah, he would be in serious trouble.
Hmm.
But yeah, but it's kind of like back to the whole JF point. Yeah, when JF kind of leveraged himself in that stream, I think he was sending the signal to Andy saying, like, look, you take me or I will nuke your channel. It kind of became that situation. And I think
I
Andy,
don't know if Andy would be nuked. I think that Andy would just fall back into irrelevancy at that point because a lot of people do like JF on the show,
Mhm.
and if Andy were to, get a new co-host, I mean, it'd have to be somebody very good to replace JF. Otherwise, I think that he would just decline in viewership again.
Yeah, but who would it be? That's,
Who would replace JF?
I mean, he probably would go back to Chris, but
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure. Chris has been gone for a long time. I guess Chris lost interest in the show. I don't know what's
yeah,
going on there.
he said it on the Kumite. Chris didn't want to do the political stuff anymore, so he just kind of phased out. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, I remembered my other point. Andy's also burned his bridges with everyone around him, like with like Holiday. I think I'm real. And, Blair White. I think all those people they
It's kind
stopped.
of iffy with Blair White. I think that recently, Hi, I Think I'm Real's new video, when that came out, Blair White made like a comment like supporting the video. So
Mhm.
it kind of seems like, why would you have a positive comment on a video attacking Andy Worski unless you didn't like Andy Worski, right? At the
Yeah,
same time, though, remember when Andy Worski was in California doing the whole trolling thing with Asian Andy and Baked Alaska?
yeah.
They actually at one point ran into her, and I mean, she didn't seem to have an issue with him at that point. So
Hmm.
it's hard to say.
Well, I mean, it could have been because they were on. If they were on camera, that's probably one reason. They usually
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
But yeah, he. But I think it's now Andy realizes that he can't go back, so he's just doubling down, and I think he is going to keep losing viewership because I think how JF succeeded in that has now made people lose a lot of respect for Andy. I
Let
see
me
his
let me check his
comments.
social blade right now. Actually, I want to just check and see how he's doing.
Yeah, he's been dropping. I think he's dropped subs every day for about like 3, 4, or 5 days now. I'm gonna open my social blade too.
Oh shit! Yeah, I see what you're talking about. So, it looks like one day his video views went down. I guess he's taking down other videos of his stuff, or that could have been the one. That could be because of the one video that got taken down about Francesca Ramsey. But yeah,
Yeah,
looking at subscribers right now, it's like on the 17th of March, he lost 35. Then it dropped down to about 190 on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, 143, 64, 129. So yeah, there's been like just a regular decline in
yeah.
subscribers each
A
day.
hundred. Yeah, it's 129 today, and that's live. So I mean, so this last number is subject to change, but yeah, he's losing subscribers. I think it could be possible because of the skeptic shift away from him, or it could be because yeah, JF cucked him, and now they've kind of lost respect for him.
At the same time, though, I mean, subscribers aren't everything because as long as you have dedicated people giving you super chat money, I think in the end for them it's all about the money. So
Oh, very true.
even if they only had like 100 subscribers, but they were still getting the same amount of super chat cash, it wouldn't make a difference to them.
Oh yeah, but I mean, when you have higher subscribers, you do have a higher chance of getting more dedicated super chats.
Yeah, true. But
Hmm.
it's hard to say what the future will hold for their channel. What to see.
Well, let's see. Do you have any questions for me?
Do I have any questions for you? Well, I'm curious about your profile picture. Is that the alien from Destroy All Humans, the video game, or what is that all about?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. I have a different avatar for it. That one that probably isn't so much of a giveaway, but yeah, that's him.
Oh, that's neat. So, what is up with like the blue face and the purple cranium? What's that
Yeah,
about?
I just wanted to change the look
Hmm.
for. But you know what? If there is an issue with it, then I'll probably have to go to another image of it, one that's not as problematic.
Hmm. I mean, it's not I mean, what do you mean by problematic?
I don't know, like if since I'm not making any money from it, I don't think they'll have a problem with it. But if I ever go like monetize it or monetize the channel or something, I don't know if this will cause some problems with copyright or whatever.
I mean, it's possible you don't want to go through what Bering had to go through. He had to take down all of his shit because he was using their bear from Total Drama
Yeah.
Island was the cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll probably have to do something like that to change my image in the near future. But yeah, that's so. Anything else or
Not that I can think of right now.
no? All right. Well, then I'll guess we will have to end it here. I thank you very much, Nate, for coming on the show. I really enjoyed this chat,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope to do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. When I find more topics to discuss, yeah, I'll gladly come on your show again, and maybe we can get a few more people in here too. I know that we had our call with Nightmare Fuel, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, whoever you find that you think would be
Yeah.
cool to talk to, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I do wish I was more vocal on that stream, but being in a new stream and being with Nightmare Fuel, I mean, if you would have went back in time and told me a year ago that I would be doing a live stream with Nightmare Fuel, I probably would have slapped you and threw you out of my house. But if you told me that I would have clammed up for the whole stream, then I'd say, yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, I mean, that's bound to happen. I think that most people, when it's their first live stream or their first time speaking openly online, they get a bit nervous in front of the camera. But
Yeah.
over time, you get used to it and it gets a lot easier.
Oh yeah. Plus, I mean, you guys had such great synergy. I mean, you, Nightmare Fuel, and David Bishop, you guys were doing so well that I just felt like it was better to take a back seat.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun talking to them. David Bishop, he's a cool guy from what I saw
I mean,
on that stream.
he's pretty cool.
So yeah, hopefully he'll do more streams on his channel too, and I can be part of them as well.
All right, yeah, no problem. I will definitely.
Anyway, though, again, thank you, Prometheus, for having me on the stream, and yeah, I'll do it whenever you want.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay, that about does it for us. I'm Prometheus the Prophet, signing off. Thank you, Nate. I will see you guys again next time.